Hi, everyone. In today's episode for Know Your Major, we have with us Mr. Samarth Tekriwal. He's doing his BBA at Indiana University Kelley School of Business. Hi, Samarth. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Rajdeep. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. And let's start with your introduction. Why don't you help
Yes.
everybody understand where did you do your schooling from, then the college, the major, and whatnot.
So my name is Samarth again. I'm a senior fourth-year student at Kelley School of Business, Indiana University. I come from Kolkata in India, and I'm majoring in operations management, business analytics, and professional sales with a minor in music because I love playing the guitar. Going back to schooling, my schooling was done through Le Martinet for Boys in Kolkata. And after this, I do not really want to study more. I might do an MBA later, but so far I'm graduating in 2 months and would love to answer all the questions Rajdeep has.
Amazing, great. Thanks, Samarth, for that lovely introduction. Let's directly deep dive into questions, right? So let's start with the first fundamental question, right? So when you entered into Kelley School of Business, were you sure about your college major, or were you got in undecided? How was it? How was the journey?
Oh yes. So when I joined Kelley, I knew I had to be a business student because looking at my future perspectives, and I was sure about business. But business also had so many things, right? Finance, marketing, entrepreneurship, operations. At that time, I had no idea. I just thought business means entrepreneurship, and I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. So when I got into Kelley, I wrote on my resume upcoming entrepreneurship major in the wrong format. I told my family members, whoever asked me, what are you going to do? I was like, I'm an entrepreneurship major. Major reason also was because entrepreneurship was a buzzword for me. Entrepreneurship sounds cool. Finance does not sound cool. So I had just selected entrepreneurship without knowing anything.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So it'll be interesting to know how did you landed up from entrepreneurship to what you're
Yeah.
doing today, which is very different.
Yes. Yes.
So let's try and understand that, right? So help us understand, how did you go about selecting your major? Were there any specific experiences, or were there people who influenced you towards that major, or was it family circumstances? What was it? How did you arrive to this particular major that you're doing today?
Okay. So I will first say why business school and why not CS, why not biology, why not science. I come from a business family back in India. It is a traditional business setup, and since childhood, I was told, and I was just told in my back of my mind that you are going to be a businessman and you will do what your father is doing. So I was always trained to be in the business world. So I never thought of CS as an opportunity or say science as a stream. So that is why business. I came to Kelley looking at entrepreneurship as the only opportunity. So I took a couple of classes in my freshman year. Freshman year, mostly first year, people don't do major classes. They start year 3 onwards because first 2 years, what the university does is they give you like the normal classes, which everyone has to take, irrespective of your major in business school. And you take like a finance class, a marketing class, operations class, entrepreneurship, analytics. And then by the time you spend 2 years, are able to, know what you liked in the classes, and then you can decide a major. But when I came, I was very diligent. I had to be entrepreneurship. So along with the basic classes, I took 2 extra entrepreneurship classes to finish my major fast. But I realized in the process that I did not learn anything in those classes. They were just giving examples of what entrepreneurs have been doing and what went wrong in the process. Now, this is subjective. Maybe people learn. But what I felt with that major was that entrepreneurship is solving a problem using a good solution you have. So no matter what you learn, no matter what the other entrepreneurs like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs did, you have to have a new idea. And for that, you need experiences. So that major was out.
Okay.
So I was now left with the other 100 majors Kelley offers, but I had to select one, a single major. And why one? Because I never knew what triple major or what double major was. But then came into play the real university. So university is not only talking to people; it is taking part in club events, going to classes, starting organizations, joining workshops, joining all these social circles. The more you talk, the more you get experienced, you understand. So I took part in several club activities. There was a financial services club, a marketing club, entrepreneurship club, and I got to know that I could do majors in multiple things. So now the definition of major was not the buzzword. It was what I'm interested in doing and what will take me to a good career, which was my family business that moment. So there was a thin line. So I chose operations management as a major, first major. after like changing my major 5, 6 times. Finally, operations management. Why? Because in the introductory classes, I really had a good time learning about operations, firstly. Secondly, family business or any business you start in future, it is all about operations, warehouse, factory, optimizing your solutions, maximum efficiency. And I spoke to so many seniors and they all had good things to say about that. Now comes into play why only operation. If you are in Kelley, you're paying so much of money, spending 4 years. Do more majors, spend more time in classes at least, you'll get to learn more. Because when you do a major, they teach you inside out of that field in the best way possible. Like theoretically, you can't learn more. Obviously, experiences will teach you, but then I decided I will do a business analytics major because I have always been good with numbers. Even my SAT math or my high school math scores were always good. So numbers, analytics, Excel, I like numbers. And I also realized that whatever I do in life, say I work for EY, say I work for PwC, or go back to my family business, numbers have to be strong in my hands. So operations, numbers, good combination. But lastly, coming back to organizations, I joined a workshop. Workshops are basically highly specified organizations which are tough to get into Kelley. But once you get in, you get real world experience of that industry. So in my finance classes, I got to know I'm not a finance person. But since I like talking to people, sales was a good workshop to join. So I joined the global sales workshop at Kelley. I'm wearing a jacket of that same workshop. And in the workshop, I realized that operations is important, business analytics is important, but even selling is important. I'm selling myself right now. You are selling your podcast. My professor is selling his class. Entrepreneur is selling his product. So why not sales also? So now I'm like, if I'm spending so much of money, I want everything. So I planned my 4 years to finish all these three majors along with a music minor, which was always planned. Guitar is my passion, as you can see on my background. So I was like, whatever I do, I will do all these three majors and I have to fit in my passion, which is music. So that is long summary of how I came and selected my majors.
Amazing. I mean, it was an interesting one. Just one question, right? So obviously, you saw business happening all around you. Your parents did
Yes.
that in day
Yes.
out. Was there at any point of time in your school journey that you thought, I'm interested in this particular subject, so I should do this rather than business? Was there any point of time where you thought about it, or you were very clear in your mind that it is going to be business?
So it was always business. There was a momentary phase when AI launched and all these companies are going technology forward. I really thought I should do coding.
Right.
Why not? It is no limitation for any student who has come as a business major or has come as a CS major. He can always do business and CS both. I went to the CS department to understand what the major requirements were, but I was not really, passionate about coding. I knew it is important, but again, like if something is not coming from my heart, I don't feel like doing it. I will not succeed at it. You
Right.
only do well if you enjoy the topic.
Right.
So as an alternative, my business analytics major gave me multiple classes which also taught me coding. So I
Got it.
learned the basics. I can always take freelancing classes, but as a major, it was a long commitment for me.
Got it. Understood. So you are
Yeah.
very, very clear in your mind that it has to be related to business.
Yeah.
What in business is what you just need to figure it out, right?
Yes.
You obviously
Yes.
did figure out. So you did operations management, you did sales, and
Business analytics.
did business analytics, right? And obviously
Yes.
minor in music. Great. So I know you've already spoken about your college experiences or related to your major, but is there something else that you want to talk about? I know you have spoken about the workshop that happens at Kelley, which is difficult to get in, but once you get in, there's a real industry exposure. And I think that played a very critical role in your journey to select sales as
Yes.
one of the,
Yes.
right?
It did.
Is there something else that you want to talk about from your college experience, which helped you, select these different majors?
So I had briefly mentioned this in my initial summary, but I think talking to seniors,
Right,
upperclassmen, really helps.
right,
Firstly, secondly, talking to professors. So I'll break both into smaller parts. Seniors. Firstly, networking is very important. Your network is your net worth. So once I got to campus, I met so many people who are older than me. I was aspirational. They were inspiring. Someone got a job in BCG. Someone was working in McKinsey. So I used to email them in a cold email way and be like, hey, nice meeting you on campus. I saw your poster. You got this job. I would like to talk about why you chose this major, how you got this job. And then talking to one senior, two seniors, then 10, 20 seniors, they all gave me an idea of all the majors.
Right.
So right before I took the classes, I knew that, okay, this major has this major has this.
Right.
As a student, when I came to campus, marketing only was video, nothing else, video and Instagram. But
Right.
when I spoke to my seniors, I got to know that marketing is not only video or social media, it's 1%. It is analyzing what customers like, data driven, getting surveys, polls, all these numbers. It is much beyond creativity. Similarly, I spoke to professors. When I spoke to professors, I told them about my end goal, which was being an entrepreneur. So now, Professor, I want to be an entrepreneur right now. I'm passionate about entrepreneurship. I watch lots of Shark Tank. So what major should I take? So professors with their 30 plus years of experiences always used to guide in the best way possible. This is nice, these five are nice, these five cross out, no need to do this. Real estate, no need. This is good. So professors and seniors played a very, very important role, which is something we never realize.
Got it. Got it. So I think from the college experience, the two biggest key takeaway would be one, your college seniors, and second are the professors who are already there.
Yes, yes.
They've seen a lot of students, so they obviously know the things in and out. But I think what is
Yes.
super important, and then you did mention about that, right? And that's going to be my next question. You spoke about your career goals, right? So did you have, looks like obviously you did have, but did you have specific career goals in mind before getting into college or before selecting the major? And was it somehow linked to the major? Looks like you did, but I still wanted to understand a little bit more on that.
So so when I started college, a year before that, I had started a small company.
Okay.
It was called Helpistry. And I used to teach older people how to use technology. Simple company, face to face or virtual. And we teach older people how to use WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook. It was a COVID born company because older people were facing problems with Zoom and WhatsApp. And in the process of 1 year, I taught more than 10,000 people. I had a good revenue. I was working properly. But I realized I did not know how to do business. Numbers were not matching. I did not know how to analyze data, who to reach out to, how to talk to people. There were so many things I had to learn. So my aim was that even though my company stopped, I should well equip myself in the next 4 years at least, learn how to talk, learn how to read data, learn how to collect data, basics, learn how to manage my finances, so that in life, if I start a company, I should be a self-made person, a one-person army where I can do everything. An entrepreneur or a businessman has to learn small parts of everything. He can't just focus on real estate and others do accounting. He has to know his stuff and then delegate his work to people. So although my major was entrepreneurship, buzzword, it changed. At the back of my mind, my aim was fully learning everything properly so that I can be self-sufficient.
And have your career goals evolved or changed after doing this particular major or being in college, or they've stayed the same?
My career goals have not changed, but the depth of my knowledge, which I want to go to, has changed. So initially, I only wanted to learn how to make balance sheets.
Right.
And that was my goal. When I go to university, I'll know how to make a balance sheet. But now I want to know how credit score work, how credit ratings work, how to get the best profit before tax, profit. So basically, all these things just deepened my horizon. Operations initially was only, being operationally good, having a good operations. But now it's how to have the best efficiency, how to delegate team, how to make small teams, what to do, what not to do. Although my initial plan is the same, learning a good chunk of everything.
Obviously gone through all of this experience. Now, based on that experience, what advice would you give to a high school student who is probably currently in school or sitting at his home or playing outside, but at the same
Yes.
point of time thinking about the major that they really want to do in college, right? So
Yes.
is there a specific advice that you have? What framework should they do or should they choose to decide what is the right major for them, right? Looks like for you, it was very, very clear, business was something that you wanted to do. But for somebody who's not very clear, is there any suggestion that you would like to give to them?
Yes, definitely. First and most important suggestion, do not select a major before coming to campus. You do not know. World is very small. We just left high school, which was teaching us ISC and ICSE or CBSE or IB. But the world is much beyond that. And we should be open-minded. We should not have a preconceived notion that this is what I'll do. Because unless you come to the real world, college is not real world, but it is semi-real world. So unless you come to the semi-real world, you do not know what you're good at. So my suggestion would be open-minded, do not have a planned major, come to campus, take part in all the opportunities which come to your way, be it club activities, speaking opportunities, try to speak, join different types of organizations, talk to people, email people, go to YouTube, read about majors, think about what is needed, and then after doing all these things, then come to a conclusion. Most of my friends, including me, we came with a major, and then the life revolved around that major. Somehow let's fit into this, somehow let's just do these classes, get the degree and go. But in reality, most of my friends who succeeded, my seniors or my juniors, they only succeeded when they chose the right major. Just be open-minded is the key. That will solve all your questions.
But I hear you, Samarth, but would it not be easier if you go with some sort of major rather than going completely undecided to the college? I mean, do you see there is a disadvantage in going as undecided? Because colleges might see you as somebody who is not very clear even now what they really want to do. There, I know, US as a culture allows you to be a lot more flexible. You can come here, change. But would it not be better? Because then you are probably writing far better essays and you're able to present yourself far better when you know what major you want to get into. Yeah. So what's your take on that?
That is very true. When I was writing my essays, I based it on my startup. So entrepreneurship matched. So for the sake of application, you can choose the best possible major at that time with your
Right.
limited knowledge. Just to answer your question, which is very valid. I did not think about that, but not as a career option. So say if I am applying to say Kelley School of Business, I should be open-minded. When say Rajdeep, when I go to college, I'm open-minded. I can do finance, I can do operations, I can do marketing.
Right.
But for the sake of my essays, for the sake of my application, if I close my eyes, right now I think I'm passionate about operations. So I'll write an essay on operations. I'll apply as an operations major. I can always change it when I reach.
Right.
So being stable on the application is different from being stable in your mindset.
In your case, see, the way I look at it, right, business is a broad field, and under business you have whether it's operation, whether it's sales, whether it's marketing, whether it's finance, right, which is easier. But
Yes.
what I'm talking about is, let's say somebody who's confused about computer science versus mechanical engineering, right?
Yes.
Somebody who's confused about chemical engineering versus mechanical engineering. Somebody who's confused about economics and psychology, right? Which are like extremes, right? And in that case, and that's quite a bit of percentage, right? If you really go out and talk to these students, and that's bound to happen because for a 9th grader, 10th grader, 11th grader, the exposure that they have is very, very limited, right? So I think in your case, it was a lot easier from that perspective because you are very clear about the business and you had that exposure. But yeah, I think for the other folks who are looking at these different majors, I was trying to understand from that perspective, right? So maybe they should also try and see if they can get exposed to these major, right? I mean, do maybe internships, right? In different areas, in different fields, right? Maybe try writing research paper or a literature review or something to understand that particular topic a little bit more deeply, right? And then you will probably realize, for example, you went to that computer science school, looked at the course and realized, I can do it, but I'm not passionate about it, right?
I have a very good example about that.
Right.
So one of my friends, he was studying in the Luddy School of Informatics, which is basically computer science.
Right.
And he interned in Amazon as a computer engineer, something similar to that. And he did not enjoy his internship. So his experience, although was not, there was a red flag in his major.
Right.
So next summer, second year summer, he worked in a business company as a sales major.
Right.
I do not think he enjoyed that major also, because now that same person is going to work in Morgan Stanley as a finance investment banker.
Right.
So internship did really play a very strong role in that person's experience. Right. In my experience, it did not play because I somehow enjoyed the internships I did.
Right.
So I could not see a change. But if I see that person from a different lens, his experiences told him what was wrong and what was right. And at the end, he was able to reach a good conclusion. So, just to add to the points I mentioned, professors and talking to people in organizations, I would also emphasize internships will automatically help you understand what you like doing. And the only con is you get internships after second year or a third year mostly. So it takes a long time. So until you take internships, it is always good to do other things possible.
Makes sense. Let's do a little bit of reflection, right? But in your
Yes.
case, it looks like you're very, very clear. But let's think about it. Looking back, is this something that you would have done differently if given a choice in selecting your major? And if yes, what would that be?
Yes, I would have done differently. I would have explored more schools in Indiana University. I never explored schools beyond Luddy and beyond Kelley. But um, there is no such rule, right? I can always do one business major. I can also do biology. Now,
Right.
all of a sudden, I read books about environment. I go through podcasts about environment. I'm a musician. So I could have always done a music degree, like a major, an environment degree, and a business degree.
Right.
And I could have always started a company based on music production or sustainable marketing because
Right.
of environment. So my only regret is being so locked into the world of business or computer that I
Right.
did not realize that there were other things going on around me. And
Right.
there is never something which is wrong or right. Everything is equal.
Right.
But I always wait business to be here and others to be here, which I should
Right.
not have done.
Got it. Great. Thanks for that, amazing openness about this feedback. And in what ways do you think, I mean, now obviously, you've finalized this major and, next 2 months you're going to graduate. So in what ways do you think this particular major has prepped you towards your future goals, right? Do you think you're well equipped on that aspect?
So sales major, I will break my majors. First is sales major. It has taught me, if not perfected me, at least I'm learning how to talk to people, how
Right.
to sell, how to negotiate, what are the red flags, what to note, how to do speed note taking,
Right.
how to read a case competition and present. So all the external things which I've learned is from sales. Operations has taught me not much, but it has taught me the basic definitions, basic terminologies, basic structure of how companies work. LIFO, first in, first out, last in, first out, all these terms. When I was working in Samsung last summer as an operations intern, I could realize that my major has taught me things which I had never knew. So
Right.
my manager was using terms which I already knew because of my major.
Right.
And now what I do in life is only applying those concepts in the real world.
Right.
And business analytics has been the most fruitful because it has taught me Excel, it has taught me Tableau, it has taught me basics of Python, it has taught me how to analyze data, how to take data, how to make inferences, how to make conclusions.
Right.
So whatever I do, it is going to help me a lot.
Right. Yeah.
So majors have done a great role in teaching me.
Amazing. Great. I think on the final thought, is there anything else that you would like to share with a high school student who is looking to go outside of India for the undergrad, be it US, UK, Canada, what advice would you like to give it to them?
Like beyond majors, anything, right?
Anything. Yeah.
Yes. So a common mistake which I see in people who come from India, I'm just talking about Indian students right now, to my university because that's my horizon. I have
Right.
not seen people beyond that. Is they tend to mingle with only people from their city or their high school or their country.
Right.
Though there's nothing wrong about that. It's totally perfect. But I say if a student comes to US all over away from India, making 5 friends who are not Indians teaches you a lot.
Right.
So in my career, I made a couple of friends who were not from my city, not from my country, out of my comfort zone. But they taught me so many new things which I never knew. And
Right.
now I have a strong network in the US. I have a strong network in UK. I have a couple of Asian friends, a friend from Thailand. So that is networking. Secondly, we all come with certain number of skills. Say I came with a music degree, I came with my passion for music, and I came with my passion for roller skating. But I always try to at least not the first 2 years, but the last 2 years, I always tried to learn new things and step out of my comfort zone.
Right.
We often are very embarrassed to do things which we are not good at because
Right.
people will laugh. But unless we do, we will not improve. So I was a very, very bad public speaker. I still have stage fright. My legs still shiver when I speak in front of an audience. But
Right.
if I quit, how will I address a larger population in my future?
Right.
So my advice to college students on this topic would be, whatever makes you uncomfortable, conquer it. So if speaking is a problem, go to the stage and speak. You might miss it once, miss it twice, but third time you will not. If
Right.
you're scared of skating, scared of skiing, go ski. If you're scared to talk to a person, just go and talk to the person.
Right.
So and say, I tried painting, I tried archery, I tried roller skating, I tried bowling. All these opportunities different clubs offer you. Don't just stick into business. There is a lot of learning outside classroom.
Right.
Try all the club activities and you will be a much more holistic person.
Great. Thanks, Samarth. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your lovely advice. I'm sure, somebody who's sitting in India at this point of time, looking at this, I'm sure they will be, they'll get a lot of information, especially I think you touched upon largely on the US education system. I think that would be really, really helpful. If, in their mind, they're confused about staying in India or going outside or deciding between different countries, I think this would definitely help, help them understand how things can change over there, right? Thanks for your time, Tamat. Thanks for joining in. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure talking. I'll see you.
See you.